Hello people of the internet, I am not an Englishman and this is a very complicated video trying to be uncomplicating and trying to have a certain point made at the end. Let's call it a lesson. So I've been away from this channel for quite a while now and the reason for it, I've actually been quite busy and I was thinking a lot of how to make this video so it would make a lot of sense, because just talking you through the stuff that's happened to me in the last month or 2 months would be very boring and very complicated and a bit selfish. But on the other hand, I started this channel because I wanted to document this journey of becoming a director or filmmaker, so kind of my career path, if you want. As we all know, every career takes literally ages to take off. And for this to make sense, I'm going to start about 3 years ago when I moved to London. So about a month into my life in London, I went to this free film festival, which is here in the area where I still live. And I met this guy called Brian, whom you've seen quite a lot of times if you are watching this channel. And he said he's also a filmmaker and that he has a few projects. And I said I have a camera. So we started talking and then we went and we made a music video together. We started shooting a documentary together. We made a web series together and a bunch of smaller projects. And he basically just gave me a lot of inspiration to start working on my own stuff. So at that time I came up with this script. We started working on it, we almost went into pre-production, we kind of started rewriting it and draft after draft, but then I kind of realized that it was a bit too long because it was around 30 pages, and B, I realized that I wasn't able to direct it at the time because it was just too hard to do it, so we shelved it. And after that I wrote this script. And this was something that was very personal to me, very close to me, something that I felt I really could do. It was about 10 pages, which translated to 10 minutes of a film. And then Brian introduced me to this DOP who was also very much into making short films, and he knows someone who used to work for someone, so he pretty much got us 2 full trucks of equipment for free, including 35mm camera and dolly and tracks and everything. I mean, it's just mind-blowing. And because Brian knew someone who used to know someone, and this guy used to date a woman whose brother used to go to lunch, we got an amazing offer from Kodak to buy stock. So we bought stock and we shot this film on 35 and we finished it. And it was about that time that I also started working part-time in this private acting school. And meanwhile, while all this was going on, Brian's girlfriend Sinead, whom you've also seen on this channel probably, has been writing a feature film called The Passenger. Earlier this year, I think it was April, we went and we shot The Passenger. Also, all the actors that were cast in The Passenger are the actors from that school I just happened to work at. So immediately after wrapping The Passenger, we went to Cannes with The Pitch, which we've shot prior to that. After Cannes, there was a bit of downtime. My wife met this woman who is a painter, and she said that she wants someone to make a documentary about her. And so we invited her on the premiere of my short film, and she said she likes it, so we went and shot the documentary about her. It's about 25 minutes long. We finished it this September, and the first festival we sent it to, they selected it, and not only have they selected it, they also selected it as the best short documentary of that month, which is mind-blown. And on that note, might I add that that documentary was shot on a single camera, which is the Sony A7S, the one I'm using right now, on a single lens, which I'm using right now, with a single microphone and a single reflector and a single light. Meanwhile, The Pitch, so my first short film, has been selected for 6 or 7, I think, film festivals, one of which was Exit 6 in Basingstoke.
You say you wanna be a star, but the city is so dense and loaded. You need to cover up your scars, and it makes you feel so distant with such a disguise.
So it's a very big and exciting day today. For me, probably the most exciting day in my filmmaking career. It's funny that I call spending money to shoot films a career, but there you go. Well, let me explain. On March 17th, 2016, I sat down during my lunchtime and literally scribbled on a napkin an idea, or basically just like a rush of ideas for a short film. Because I knew that later on that evening I was meeting with my friend Brian, who is also a producer. I remember it was March 17th because we met in a pub and they gave us those hats for St. Patrick's Day. So after lunch I took this napkin and I just typed down all these ideas into something that looked a bit more presentable than a napkin. These two pieces of paper, and it's just scribbled. It's sentences that make no sense to anyone who would read it but me. I sat down in the pub with Brian and just went through this, and I told him this is an amazing idea. I think we need to do it. I think we need to shoot a film. He liked the idea. He told me to just write a script because it didn't make much sense at the time. Anyway, 2.5 years later, which is today, and it's 29th of September 2018, we are at the Exit 6 festival in Basingstoke, and our film has just been screened in View Cinema, and this to me is completely, I can't get these things together, because something that started like this as a napkin basically then went through all the post-production stages and the production stages, and then we had a crew. We had two trucks of equipment to film the whole thing. We shot it on 35mm on film, which to me is, even today, the chances that we would shoot it on 35mm were so close to zero, and yet we kind of somehow managed to actually shoot it. And then it goes to post-production and all these people involved, and then in the end you see it on this large screen and it evokes emotions, like people were laughing, and at the end one guy came and he was completely mind blown that he would follow us whatever else we'll do in the future, and that it was such an amazing piece of art and that we should be really proud of ourselves. And I'm really, wow. I still can't process the whole thing. I'm gonna get really philosophical now, but something that only exists one frame per 24th of a second, and then it stops existing and it doesn't exist anymore, and yet it evokes feelings from people and it brings people together, and eventually people make money out of it and they can survive. To me, that's wow. Whew, exciting. So one of the women that you've seen in this video, which is Sanya, who was acting in the short film, is staging a play. One of the actors from that play contacted me a few weeks ago, and he said that he would like to make a short film and if I would be interested in directing it. So I said yes, and we met up, and if everything goes smooth, we will be shooting it early next year. Also, one of the actresses from the acting school that I work at is also working on a script, and she asked me if I would be interested in directing it, so if everything goes smooth, we're shooting that earlier next year as well. One of the actors from this same acting school is producing a short film, and he asked me if I would be interested in directing it, so if everything goes smooth, we're shooting that earlier next year. The first AD from The Passenger, who was a second AD on my short film, is shooting her short film in June, and she asked me if I could edit it in exchange of her being the first AD on my short film. The short film which I've written in the first place when I came here, and when I wrote it I didn't think I was able to direct it. If everything goes smooth, we're shooting that earlier next year as well. You remember when I said in the beginning of this video this could be very complicated? That's what I meant. And why I'm not particularly keen on talking about all these projects is because the nature of pretty much every filmmaking project is it's not done until it's done. So basically now I have 4 or 5 projects hanging in the air for the first half of next year, none of which could happen for me. So all of these, who are the writers, producers and directors of other films, can just decide to not go with me. They might not like my vision, they might find someone else who is more suitable or anything, or they just might decide they don't want to do it anymore, so we won't do it. But on the other hand, maybe this is the reason why we should talk about this, because this stuff is completely normal and I take it as something natural and normal, and you know, I don't hold grudges against anyone who decides to swap me for anyone else, because this is natural to this industry. This will eventually happen, I think, to everyone. There's no such thing as just smooth sailing and you just, everything that you pick or you are picked for, you just do it. And on that note, we come to today. A few months ago, here in our area, they've opened this thing called the Stratum Space Project, which is basically a massive building with exhibition place, with a bar and this massive cinema room. I went there yesterday and I pitched them an idea if they would be up for making monthly meetings for London-based filmmakers who are still up and coming. And so every month we would meet, we would select 6 or 7 short films from independent filmmakers and we would show them. We would get as many people as possible, and then they would get their Q&A, people who were asking questions, they would get feedback, and then after that they would just mingle and network in that bar area. Why I'm concluding this is because everything that I've done in these 3 years, so from this first script that I've written and then to every festival that we went and these actors that I'm working with, all these skills and all these connections, I will try and use it for this project. Because it's quite hard when you make a film and you finish a project that you love very much and then you either don't get selected to festivals or you get selected but you maybe are not able to attend that festival, and just giving a chance to people to be able to showcase it and just sit at the back of the cinema and just observe how people react, which by the way is one of the worst experiences in life, but you kind of have to go through it because then you really see, you know, what people feel and think about your film. And also to give a platform to filmmakers and actors and, you know, makeup artists, producers, anyone interested and involved in film who wants to do certain project and just wants to meet up and connect with people. Again, a place, a platform where they can do that, and just, you know, every month they meet up and hopefully something comes out of it. I guess what I'm trying to say is that it's really important to just keep working and keep attending every festival possible and every event possible and keep meeting a lot of people, because only then people will see you, people will see how cool it is working with you, hopefully, because if it's not cool working with you then they probably won't call you back. And also you will meet other people and you will be able to go on other projects. And basically just to keep pushing it and just continue doing what you think is the right thing for you to do. I will definitely keep you updated on how the project develops. The first event is up in February and hopefully it's gonna stick and it's gonna be a monthly thing. Thank you very much for watching. Now go back to writing or go shooting or do whatever you have to do to just finish your film finally. See you next week.